Okay, we're here at UK Nuts with Guillaume, who just won the Edison format event.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Good. So do you want to take us through your list?
Yeah, sure. So we'll start the monsters. I'm assuming you don't want them this way?
Yes, please.
Yeah, cool. So the best card in the game, Shura. It's probably my favourite card in Edison format. If you guys know me online, I'm GBO. I've got the Shura profile picture. This card just nets you so much advantage. It's pretty much good in every matchup. Free Soroko. Soroko also really good in the mirror, really good against Value Turbo, and it's just a big beat stick. Free Borrow the Spear. This one's less good, but you need extra names for Whirlwind. It's good with Velour, it's good with Icarus. It trades really well into Raiko, and it's good in the Frog matchup, so that's the reason you max out. Then Free Kalute. Blackwing has its own hand trap. I know, like, you think of Edison, you don't really think hand traps, but damage type Kalute is basically one of the strongest traps in Edison, alongside Shura, alongside Bora. It goes for lethal and it defends you in positions. It's a really good card. Following on for this, free Blizzard. Blizzard is probably one of the best recursion cards in the format. Like across the tournament, I Blizzard into Brio, Goyo Guardian. It manipulates your graveyard, so if you have free Darks in Grave, you can go into Dark Armed. I pretty much always pushed for lethal using Blizzard. Blackwings can OTK. I know OTK is not popular in Edison format, but Blizzard enables these. One Gale, because it's a 1. It's a really good card. Value plays, one value player topped cutting this. I don't think that's correct, but we'll move on from that. 2 value. So value is kind of like a Garnet. Because if you draw it and it has its effect not negated, you can't synchro with it on the field, and it's a really weak guy. If you summon it off Shura, its effect is negated, so you can synchro it off. The real advantage of value is you can banish it from the graveyard to perform a synchro summon for a Blackwing synchro monster, but its effect is negated. This basically gives you a lot of recursion. Also, the stat line is really good for Black Whirlwind. If you summon any of these 4, you can search a value. Some people play 1, some people play 3. I find that 2 is probably the best. Playing 3 is diminishing returns, but playing more than 1 gives you a lot more of a grind game. And finally, probably the most powerful monster in Edison format, Dark Armed Dragon. This wins the game by itself. I drew this a fair amount and I won. I don't think my opponents were happy when I summoned it. One of my rounds I OTK'd someone. Sucks to be him, I guess. Alright, okay. Spells. So these are the one-offs: Heavy, Brain Con, Mind Con. Sometimes people don't play Mind Con in Blackwing, but it's really good into the meta. It's really good with your tuners. It's good against everything. Allure, MST, this is my giant card. And 2 Book. Book is a really contentious card in Blackwing, but it's dirt cheap, and I built this deck like 3 weeks ago. It's actually quite good in the mirror match because you can set a synchro monster. Blackwings profit a lot off you having monsters on your opponent's side of the field because you can summon your Soroko, you can beat over them with Shura, and if you do piercing damage, they're basically in the grave already. And then probably everyone's least favourite card, Black Whirlwind. The games where you draw this and it resolves are sometimes non-games. Like, if your opponent can't out the Whirlwind, you get so much advantage. Yeah, really good. I drew this a fair amount, it's at 2. Yeah, really good. All right, shall I move on to the traps?
Just to the side.
Okay. Free Crystal Attack. This is one of the main synergy pieces in the deck. Tribute a Winged Beast, destroy 2 cards. This is a really good way to trade into your opponent's trap cards. If they bottomless your normal summon or they lead prison and they have 2 other cards on the field, you get 2 for free. You get to choose what cards you get rid of. It's an out to all sorts of floodgates. It's defensive trap, it's versatile, you can use it offensively. Really good card. Only problem is Starlight Road, but I only saw that 1 person playing against me today, so pretty lucky. 2 Legacy of Yatta. This is a more new innovation to the format. A lot of the people shotgun, back row removal against Blackwing, Dust Tornadoes, MSTs, all very good against Blackwing. And so this sort of baits those cards. It baits Heavy Storm quite well. You get to draw. and it also basically bluffs as like an Icarus or one of the future traps, making your opponent hold off from attacking you when you're weak, and then it helps you draw into Whirlwind more consistently, which is the best part. And then the more defensive traps, 2D Prison, 2 Bottomless. Bottomless is 2 in this format, it's really good. Deep Prison, also pretty good. There was a lot of frogs in this event, and these cards aren't the best against frogs, just because of the way the monarchs work. So, not always the best, but overall I was pretty happy with 2 and 2. And finally, 3 power one-offs. In my top 4 match, I opened these 3 in a Fossil Diner against a frog opponent, and yeah, I won that one very quickly.
Nice.
So, should we get to side deck?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Alright, side deck. There is a lot of frog hate here, but I'll go through monsters first. So, 2 Fossil Diner. This is primarily for decks that special summon a lot, but also have very weak guys. So, frogs, any sort of plant deck, any deck that plays like Dandelion. This is really good. It stops scores, which means you can push for lethal. It stops battle phase fader, so you can push for lethal through that. It's a really weird out to a dupe block. If you flip summon it, it's got a hidden effect. It destroys special summon monsters. Next up, 2 Cyber Dragon. This is for the aggro matchups. Also, Chimera Check Fortress Dragon is in this format.
Okay.
Super good into machines, any Mac in the deck. I'm not playing Fortress Dragon in my extra deck because I ordered a Fortress Dragon online and I got a Mega Fleet instead 2 days before the tournament. So unlucky, but I didn't play against any Machina players. I literally just use this as a way to out Consecrated Light, because it's a light monster, not a dark monster.
Yeah.
But I never drew into it all tourney.
Okay.
2DD Crow, this is a very versatile side card. Hand traps are still good in Edison. Any sort of graveyard decks, zombies especially, I've faced 2 zombies. Really good card. Faced Light Sworn multiple times. Shout out MB96. Yep, really good. And now we go back to the frog hate, 2 Pulling the Rug. This card was great. Every time they summoned a monarch, I had the Pulling of the Rug. It died, and it's such a negative tempo play for frogs that you can just very easily beat them down.
Yeah.
Next up, 2 Dust Tornado. This is for the mirror match. Dust Tornado is probably the best card to side for the mirror because it lets you destroy their defensive traps and also protect you from Whirlwind. You really need to out Whirlwind in the mirror or else you'll lose the game very quickly.
Yep.
2 Oppression. This didn't actually come up that much, but Inferior Oppression is a really good card in the format. Any deck that special summons the Floodgate system against them. Yep.
Okay.
2 Deck Bevy. This is a really unfair auto win against certain decks in the format. There was a fairy player, but I didn't play against him. That kills fairies. I use this as an out to Consecrated Light in multiple games in my finals and last round of Swiss against a Christian Sworn opponent. Yep. And finally, 1 Compulse for Vayu. I felt like I needed a bit more side deck space for Vayu, but I actually saw no Vayu in the tournament. I think I just got lucky with my pairings.
Sure. Okay.
And so finally, extra deck. So the 2 5s. Catastrophe is a nice generic out to a lot of different problematic cards. But if your opponent's playing a dark deck, it's kind of really bad. It's just vanilla. And at which point you want to play Android because it has a very good stat into the meta. There's a lot of 2,300, 2,400 cards. So this trades well with them. It also gains you life points in the end phase. I never went to time, and yeah. 2 Armed Wing, and I'll also bring up 2 Armor Master. These are the main Blackwing Synchros, alongside a Silverwind. So Silverwind almost never comes up unless you're summoning off Vayu, banishing an Armor Master. The main one is Armed Wing. This is very good against defensive decks. It deals a lot of piercing damage. One thing that's different between Edison format and Modern is aggro decks is more of a thing. If you push your opponent for damage early, even if they have more advantage, you can win the game. It's a bit ignorant, but it works.
Yep.
Armor Master is more of a defensive card. It's undestroyable by battle. You take no damage. It's a wall, but it also is just level 7 generic synchro you can summon that isn't Black Rose Dragon.
Yeah, okay.
So these are the 3 one-offs in Edison. Brio, Goyo, Black Rose. These are probably the best synchro monsters of the game. Brio lets you go for games. It bounces synchro monsters back to the extra deck. It's very efficient removal. Goyo lets you steal monsters, which gives you 2 big monsters. Black Rose is a emergency button, it nukes everything on the field, so if you're down, it can swing the game back to you. And finally, the level 8s. So Dark End, really good. Back in Edison, most people wouldn't own this. It was a really expensive prize card, but playing now modern, everyone uses Dark End. Thought Ruler, this card, I really like it. It's a bit overrated. Gains your life, it protects you versus Deep Prison, but you've got to make the read on if they have a Deep Prison or a Bottomless or a Mirror Force. The other card on that end is Stardust Dragon, probably the most iconic card from Edison format. Very good against certain battle traps. I'm playing the worst art because it was slightly cheaper. Colossal Fighter, this card is good in theory, but I almost never make it. It basically is unkillable. There's a really cool play where you can crash this into a Goyo Guardian, and it steals any warrior from the grave, so you can summon the Goyo Guardian from the opponent's grave.
Okay.
And finally, Red Dragon Archfiend. This was a last-minute addition because I didn't have a Chimera Tech.
Cool.
So that's everything.
Great. Thanks very much for the profile. And then any shout-outs that you want to make?
Shout out Birdcage, shout out Edison War League, shout out my girlfriend.
Cool. Well, congrats on winning. Congrats on taking home the prize cards. Hope you
you very
enjoy it. And see you again in the future.
Yeah, cool.